What's up, guys? I am your host, Brandon Foster, and you are listening to the last podcast. And then you say you heard a saying that said, don't let perfection get in the way of good. And really think about critical decisions that could literally change the path of your life. If you know anything about me, you know that I love golf. Are you born a leader or is it developed? I am always just focused on the end game, the end result. I'm undersized, 5'7" and 3/4, according to my pro day. Don't focus on the success, focus on the journey. What's up, guys? I am your host, Brandon Foster, and you are listening to the last podcast. If it's your first time, welcome. If it's your second, your third, your fourth, fifth, welcome back. And thank you for listening. Today, I have a guest. Finally, a guest. I'm sure some of you guys are like, all right, B, we heard you. Let's hear somebody else. And I am the same way. So none other than my college roommate, just a great overall guy, my guy, Aaron Ross. Now, before he blesses us on this mic, I just want to let you guys know how this podcast format is going to go. Usually I do 4 quarters and I just break it down into 4 quarters. But today I'm not going to do 4 quarters. I'm just going to break it down into a more organic approach. And me and my boy Ross are just going to conversate. And we're just going to see where the conversation goes. I can tell you right now, when I reached out to A. Ross, he was like, bro, I've been waiting on you to ask. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm very, very excited. Because when somebody wants to be on the show, that means that, one, they're in a good place and want to speak on it, which I'm very, very happy to hear. And then 2, just as a podcast listener myself, I'm just anxious to see what my guy A. Ross has to say. So if you don't know who A. Ross is a Texas Longhorn legend, Thorpe Award winner, meaning he was the best DB in college. Drafted first round to the New York Giants, where he won 2 Super Bowl rings. Yes, 2. So my man has 3 championship rings. He has a Rose Bowl championship ring, and then he has 2 Super Bowl rings. So he is literally a walking champion. And then he is married to Sonia Richards Ross, who is a Olympic gold medalist and the co-host of Central Ave. So I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, this is a living and live Black power couple. But this show is gonna be about him, and I'm just very, very excited to hear what my guy A. Ross has to say. But before we get started, before he blesses us on the mic, let's take a quick break. Today's episode is brought to you by Ross Elite Chauffeur Service. At Ross Elite Chauffeur Service, our mission is to provide exemplary service while meeting all your transportation needs. We are proud to offer an extensive fleet of luxury vehicles driven by a team of professional drivers with more than 30 years of chauffeur expertise. From airport transportation to wine tours and any special event in between, we'll get you to your destination in superior style. Ross Elite Chauffeur Service. We know what it means to be elite. All right, guys, welcome back. I got my boy, my guy, A. Ross. A. Ross, tell everybody what's up, man. Make sure we can hear you.
What's happening, baby?
Yeah. Man, hey, I ain't gonna lie. I got to when I texted you earlier, boy, nervous, but I feel like I got an ESPN exclusive interview.
You crazy, man.
ESPN exclusive interview with Aaron Ross.
You stupid boy.
But hey, man, first of all, man, I just want to say thank you, man, for taking out the time, man. And I told everybody in the intro, too, that when I asked you was like, bro, I've been waiting for you to ask, so I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, when you said that, it really made me feel good, made me excited, but also made me a little bit more nervous because I know you wanted to do it. So.
Yeah, no, like I told you before, off the air, that I'm super proud of you just being so transparent with everything. I know personally that's not something that's easy for an athlete to do, no matter what the situation is. So I'm super proud of you, bro. You didn't help me out on a few of these podcasts, so I listen to it all the time. So for all the listeners out there, please stay tuned. He's doing something big. I don't even think he realized how important it is for former athletes to hear stuff like this.
Well, I can say, man, that means everything coming from you. Because I ain't gonna lie, like when I first started doing a podcast, like low key, I really didn't think it would resonate with guys like you. When I say guys like you, man, you played in the league for what was it, 7 years?
think it was 8.
8? Oh, my bad. Sold you one short.
Come on, B, don't short my year, man. I worked hard
Hey,
for that extra year,
got you
man.
8. My bad. Like, you know what? Like, low-key, I really didn't think that, like, I guess naive or just ignorance on my part, I didn't really think that you guys, you know, when I say you guys, you know, you vets who played in the league for longer than I did. I really just didn't think y'all kind of really had any of those same feelings or emotions like playing, you know, life after sports. So it's just crazy when you called me that one day. It's like, man, bro, like I'm getting a lot from your podcast. I ain't gonna lie, I hung up the phone. I was like, what? Like, hey, Ross getting something from this?
No, it's. I mean, anytime it's over, it's over. No matter if you starting to play high school football and then it ends, because you know you start pretty much everybody at Pop Warner.
Right.
So starting from 7, ending at 18, that's hard, and then carrying it on 4 more years in college and not making it, that's hard to deal with.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the league for 1 or 2 years or 10 or 15, no matter what, that ending is still an ending. So no matter what it is, it's gonna be hard to transition to life.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I don't think there's going to be too many people who don't know you are, man. But if you would, man, just kind of introduce yourself. Let everybody know who Aaron Ross is. Who, you know, because I can hype you up all I want. Your accolades speak for themselves. But man, who is Aaron Ross, man?
Man, this your boy Ross. Nah, just a old Texas boy, country boy. Just trying to make it. Married to the love of my life. Got my baby boy. Went to the University of Texas. Later on, went to the NFL, like B said, played for 8 years, B. Won 2 Super Bowls, and can't forget about that national championship we won together. And now an entrepreneur, a family man, and a businessman. So now life has just started for me.
Right. And everybody, I hope y'all notice how humble he is. He was like, you know, I got my boy Deuce. And you know what's funny about when I found out that Sonya was pregnant, I was like, bro, finally. I think everybody in your circle was more excited or more looking forward to you and Sonya having a baby than y'all two. Like we was already putting in dibs about, you know, who gonna invest in the son before anybody. You know what I mean? But and then he failed to realize, because he's such a humble guy, is that his wife Sonya Richards Ross is an Olympic gold medalist, and I know it's crazy because I feel like I always brag on that, and I know you being you, you always say like you just did, yeah, you know, I married the love of my life, you know, all that, bro,
all that sentimental,
all that sentimental stuff. I'm over there like, man, no, bro, his wife is freaking gold medalist, bro, like you over there, yeah, this love of my life, man. All I know is y'all got to be the most athletic couple. You probably the only guy where your wifey is probably a little bit more athletic than you and her, right?
Yeah, I would not get on the track with him
at all. Nobody in their right mind will, but you know. But yeah, man, I think it's cool how everybody that, you know, we all play. We're all in that transition now where we're, you know, husbands and fathers and whatnot. But I would like to believe though that, you know, marrying a wife who was just as successful as you had to be, I wouldn't say tough, but I mean it had to be unique in its own sense. So like, kind of talk about how it is. You know, and you ain't got to get personal, but how it is, you know, you married an Olympic gold medalist, bro. Like, y'all been together. And it's funny, before we even get to that, I remember you telling me in the dorms, like, Foster, I'm going to marry her. And I was like,
I'm going to get her, bro. I'm going to get her.
Yeah, I'm going to get her. And I was like, you damn right, you better. So kind of just, you know, like I said, again, you ain't got to get too personal, but just, man, just kind of speak on how it is, you know, marrying the love of your life and, you know, marrying a Olympic gold medalist, and how now y'all kind of doing a family thing, man. I'm sure that's a life in itself.
Yeah, no, it's been everything, bro. It's honestly, I get that question all the time. Was it hard being in college and married to an Olympian who's more popular, more famous, more everything than you are?
Right.
And honestly, it wasn't hard for me. You know me better than a lot of people, B. So I kind of took it with stride. I looked at her regimen, looked at how many abs she doing, 1,500 abs a day. I'm like, damn, what is she doing? She eating right, she juicing, she doing all these little things to get to that point. So I kind of took it and basically she drew the blueprint and I followed it. And that was one of the things that she motivated me to like stop drinking as much, stop partying as much, and really focus on what I needed to do to get to the NFL. So she was my motivation from college to do what I needed to do. That's basically it.
Yeah, man. Hey, you know what's funny
we can't curse on here.
I mean, hey, you be you, baby, be you. This ain't this be you. But you know what's funny though, man, because I can remember times in the weight room and y'all two doing. And this is before y'all were married. This is while we still in school, and I can remember her doing. I mean, if anybody's seen her run, like her stomach is perfect.
Yeah.
And I can remember like seeing her stomach sometimes, like, bro, that's what all those 1,500,000 million sit-ups do. Like, yeah. I mean, at first I was like, man, she ain't doing no 1,000 hours a night. Yeah. Until I moved in with her, and I was like, damn, she really doing this. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I can't just be sitting here on the couch watching TV and she down here doing abs. So that's what really motivated me to start doing it. As you know, I was kind of just, I don't know. I just want to say I got blessed and lucked up to be in the situation that I was in. Mm-hmm. I was kind of naive coming out of high school, not really understanding how to make it to the NFL, not even having somebody to even go to college in my household, right? Let alone be a collegiate, college athlete. Right. So I was just happy to be in college, like in your previous podcast. Can you hear that wind? No, you good.
Okay, yeah. So that was the first one. First time they told me I was getting a scholarship. I was like, dang, I get to go to school to do this? Right. I was like, damn, for real? Then, junior year, that's when the first agent came and was like, hey, you have an opportunity to play in the NFL. I was like, oh, damn, for real? I'm just here. I'm just happy to be here. I've missed 2 years. I'm just happy to be back in school. Right. So it was I was kind of just living, bro. Right. Not even realizing my ability, right. And just being around, like you talked about before, that our DB room, right. There was something special to see all those guys that you go out with, you live in the dorms with, you live with, yep. you do everything with, go to the NFL, and you're like, hey, hold on, I think I can make it to the NFL now. Right. So I think just being at UT, being married, being with Sonya, and then being around the type of guys that we were around, it kind of opened up my eyes to show me that I could make it too. Right. And it's crazy because, like I said, me and A. Ross came at the same time, and I know I said on the previous podcast how when you were in high school, you were there before, then something happened right with your grades, and then you had to leave, and then basically you came back in 2003 with me. So yeah. I can just remember like, and I told the story already. It's like, man, when did I seen him in high school already? And man, I'm telling y'all, A-Ross got to be the coldest athlete I've ever seen in high school. Like, our coach was like, bro, do not kick it. What number were you in high school? You won 31, were you? 3. He's like, man, do not kick it to 3. Do not kick the Ross. And what does our punter do? Of course, kicks it to you. And I don't know if you remember. This is at UTA. This is Arlington. I mean, y'all band was live. Y'all, yeah, everybody. Yeah. I mean, I think y'all had the whole town there. And of course, we traveled. Man, y'all was deep. And this is, and I wasn't playing. I was just watching. I'm just like, man, like if this is what high school gonna be about, like, bro, I don't know if I'm ready for this varsity yet. But man, just for him to kick you that ball and then you don't even get touched, and then a couple years later, you my roommate, and then you meet Sonya, and like all these things just always just kind of lined up, and it was just blessings on your part because I just feel like good things happen to good people. So I appreciate that, V. Yeah, and it's just I mean, we had some good times, but I always felt like you just had a good heart, and I it's funny now because I see a lot more people. You can stop at a red light now. I was asking for money, and it always just reminds me of you, because I can remember us when we stayed over there off of what was that, Riverside. Yeah. I used to always give the homeless people money. I'm like, hey, I was like, bro, why you always giving them money? He was like, man. And you was like, man, bro, if I got it, like, if I got it to give, I can give it to him. And I always just thought, like, man, that just goes to show what kind of heart you have.
And that's why I just always feel like it no matter what happened.
And we were broke in college.
Man, we was broke, bro.
$864.32 a month.
Hey, you still remember that amount, bro?
Hey, yeah.
Man, we was out there struggling. I borrowing each other cars, bro. Man, but it's just crazy now. Like I say, to see us now, but also just to kind of hear how it is for you. And you kind of already touched on your marriage, but tell me this, man. How's it been a father, man? I be checking y'all on Instagram. I see you got the little gray hairs, bro. You looking like a real dad right now, bro.
That's what fatherhood do to you, bro.
Right? You looking like a real dad.
But it's good, bro. It changed my whole perspective on life. He had pride and joy. So as soon as I found out that she was pregnant, I changed my whole thought process.
Right.
I always say that I wanted him to be a better me, and in order for that to happen, I had to become a better me. So I started working on myself, went on a little personal journey for about 4 or 5 years of trying to get my head right, get all things lined up.
Right.
For me to be a better Ross.
Right. All right, man. So, what? If you mind telling us what them 4 and 5 years look like, man? Because I'm sure you're not the only one kind of going through it. Just kind of, how did you kind of find yourself, to prepare you for fatherhood and really just life after sports, man?
Yeah. So basically, it basically started like, what was it, October 18, 2014. That's when I kind of told myself. That's when me and Sonya started talking. It was basically becoming the end of my career.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, it's time for us to start that family. So when she was ready, I was ready. That's when I started to focus in on trying to be the best me I could be. And started cut out the drink, went on a full cleanse, stopped the drinking, all the others, the partying, just start cutting out the things that I felt like was blocking me from being clear-headed.
Right.
So I cleaned up my diet, started reading more. I ain't never read a full book from start to finish. So being able to do that, it just, I don't know, it just sparked something in me. Start studying who we were as Black people. That was something I was interested in at school already. So just trying to educate myself as much as possible, and just going back to talk to my pops, his mom, my grandma, as many people as I could, to try to find out who I was. And the only way to find that out was basically to find out who they were. So it's an ongoing journey. I'm still on it now, but I think that was the main thing that kind of helped me out a lot to find out, basically, like I said before, where my lineage came from.
Right. Man, I guess, you know what, I guess that is important, and it all makes sense. Because like I said, I teach for a living, and I always try to tell my students, man, you gotta know who you are. So I think that's kind of cool how, like you said, you want to find out what your lineage is, and go back and talk to your pops, which I'm sure that was a hard situation.
Yeah, definitely.
As it is, and we don't have to get into that, but
hey, we can get into whatever you want to get in, B.
But okay, well, like I said, I'm sure it was hard to go talk to your pops. So kind of talk about that, growing up, your relationship with your pops, and kind of just how it was at the beginning and where y'all at now.
Yeah, so basically, of course, when you're young, you don't remember I don't remember no time before about 5-6 years old, and the only thing, the first memory I remember about him is finding dope in the house, and it was hidden in a cookie can. And me being separated from him for the next 7-8 years, and having to live with my granny. We moved to East Texas. I was born in San Antonio, Texas. So, and then after finding that out, felt like I kind of messed up our family, because my mom basically had us move away. She's young. She had my brother at 13 and had me at 17. So she's a kid raising kids. Right. And then, during the crack era, my father was a victim of that. So that kind of put a wedge in between our family. And then just fast forward 7 years later, I had a chance to live with him again when I was 13, 14. Went to high school in San Antonio for 2 years. The first year he was doing good. Then that second year he got back on dope. And basically fended for myself. And I had to move back again with my grandparents to East Texas, Tyler. Mm-hmm. And the relationship was kind of basically started from point zero again, being older and seeing that and not understanding what drugs were all about. I kind of took that and blamed him for everything. Right. And we really didn't have a sit down until I turned like 33. Oh, man. Like 20 years later. Right. So I sat down, he explained to me what drugs were doing for him and how he started it and where it came from, his uncles and brothers and just the whole thing. I just had a real grown up sit down with him, and I kind of had respect for him. And he actually, after that talk, I sat down. He told me he was the one that called my mom and told her to come get me. The whole time I thought it was my mom that found out that he was on dope and came and saved me. Wow. But it was him that called and said, "Hey, I'm messing up again. Come get our son." Right. So it kind of changed my whole perspective on how I looked at him. Right. And now today he still struggled with it, but he's getting better. We talk pretty much, maybe I want to say twice a week or about once or twice a week, which is that's a lot compared to 20 years of absence. Right. So but now we growing we getting a better relationship now. So that's something that I think is important for my son to know who his grandfather is, and now that I'm learning, it's not only for Deuce, but it's more so for me.
Right, man. That I just think that's a inspiring story too, just for anybody out there who doesn't necessarily have that relationship with their parents, and it's never really too late.
Yeah,
and it
definitely.
Just, I guess it took you wanting to know the real story, and I'm sure that's gonna help you be a better father too, just because you got that relationship with your pops.
For sure.
So man, I appreciate you telling that. And look, that's even something that I didn't necessarily know. And I did hear you tell that before. Yeah, when I seen you, look, I'm calling you out when you was at the church crying. I seen you, bro, crying.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's tough though, being in front of all the people trying to speak on that though. Like,
it was easy to write, but trying to speak it, I was like, ooh,
right.
Yeah, this is not easy.
Right. You're emotional with the rest of them too.
Yeah.
But nah, man, congratulations on, man, you just being able to build that relationship with your pops, man, because I know deep down that means everything to you, because everybody want to have a relationship with their pops, man, if they can.
Exactly.
Especially if they're still alive, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but man, speaking on that, like I said, I wanted this to be organic as possible. Definitely didn't want this to be a Q&A, but you did touch on your love for entrepreneurship, man. So tell us, and you've already been a sponsor for us, and I'm gonna make sure I plug you in on this podcast too with the Ross Elite, man. But tell us, I mean, because I ain't gonna lie, when I seen you starting business, I'm like, what? Because I've never seen an entrepreneur in Ross. Not saying that he don't have it. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Right. Like, so kind of tell us how you got started on the Ross Elite. Was it your idea? Was it, you know what I mean? Like, how did that all unfold?
Well, let me see. It started from a lot of things. Being in New York, you don't drive really, so I had a chauffeur there the whole time, and being with him damn near every day. I'm seeing the ins and outs of the business, and shout out Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos. Yeah.
Yes. So seeing him run the business from his phone, and setting up trips and just doing all of the logistics itself, doing the driving, and just seeing the ins and outs of the business. I was like, dang, this is something that I might want to do. Right. And then being in the league, got multiple vehicles. So he like, well, once I retired, Sonya sat down, and she kind of fed the idea. Was like, hey, baby, I think this is something that you probably can do. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna do. I don't know about that. So we tried it. We had a guy that we used when we were in town in Austin that drove for us sometimes. And I called him. He said that he was retiring out of the business. And I just said, hey, we got a few vehicles. We want to start this company and want you to be the manager of it. And he was game. I sat down with him, tried to pick his brain and learn the ins and outs of the business from the Texas perspective. Right. And that's basically how it started. After that, it was pretty much easy having the connections at UT.
That's always helpful.
Yes, that's always helpful. So I had a chance to go talk to them, and that was basically like our first contract. They trusted us with taking the coaches to and from the game, and from that point on, started getting the recruits and so on and so forth. And then we started getting relationships with people that went to the University of Texas and at Dell and other big corporate accounts, and that's really where it happened.
Man, y'all big time. I didn't know it was like that. So man, tell me how like, because you can always relate like entrepreneurship and being a football player. How did your football background and accomplishments help you with building the Ross Elite? Because I'm not gonna lie, it's easy to have an idea sometimes. But it's a whole nother battle actually going out there to execute it. You know what I mean? So like, how did your past, football help you with making sure that you can build Ross Elite into a profitable company, not just a company? You know what I mean?
No, it's football is everything, bro. Football is life. So I'm learning that every single day in business. Just the philosophies from either Coach Akina that we done learned, just little things. How Coach, just a short story. How Coach Akina sat us down and showed us the importance of every role on the team. Right. So in the chauffeur industry, you had the detailer that details the cars. You have the logistics manager that answers the phones. You had a driver. Then you have the owner or whatever. Right. So most people would look at the detail as the lowest person on the totem pole. Right. But like I explained to the team, is everybody's a CEO at some point on the job. Wow. Meaning, the first time the customer calls in, the logistics manager is the CEO. Right. They represent the company. That's the first thing they hear. The second point is the driver, how they're dressed, their attire. Right. That's the first time they go see our company. And then when they walk them out to the car, that's when our detailer becomes the CEO, because depending on how their car looks, right, that's gonna either win or lose this business. So everybody is a CEO at some point, or the Vince Young at some point. Right. Coach Akina broke it down to us on special teams. You remember Rufus? Yep. Mm-hmm. I was Rufus. So as you know, on kickoff, he's the wedge buster. Right. If we can stop somebody on the 10 to have our defense go out there and start on the 10, then we know they have a 30% chance of scoring. If you stop them on the 15, the chances get higher and higher the further they get up to the goal line. So Coach Akina gave a lot of love to the special team guys for doing their job where the media wouldn't give it to them. So just little things like that football taught me on respecting and appreciating everybody on the team and letting them know that they're appreciated. So that brought the whole team camaraderie and respect for every position on the team, where everybody knows how important every individual role is on the team. So that's a small example, but it's so many more that I can kind of point out that I learned from football. Just film study. I have cameras in the cars to where I ask the passengers before they book, Hey, we're trying to improve our service, so we want to film this trip, and so we can go over it with our chauffeurs and basically coach them up.
Right.
And we film the trip, and we go over the layout. We come together, watch the film, and be like, hey, what could you have done better in this situation? What did you pull the bags out the car first? Did you open the door the right way? Did you greet the passenger the right way? So it's little things like that where Coach Akina, been in that film, been in that room with him. He was very detailed.
Right.
So that's something that I've brought over to the entrepreneurial side of things.
Got you. I'm gonna tell you right now. Whenever I start me a business, I'm gonna bring you over for consulting. So, because I like the whole CEO approach. That everybody's a CEO at some point in the day. Like, I think that's real. That's real dope. That's where it's at. Because I mean, that's one thing about Coach Akina. He did, no matter whether you were backup or starter, special teams. Like, it was important to understand your role on the team.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like when you understand your role, you put value behind your performance and what you do.
Put value behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny because people like, man, when you play football, I'm like, 03 to 07. So of course they bring up the championship, and I found myself, because all I did that game was I took a lot of pride in going off on a kickoff, trying to get a tackle. But you saying that, I see why now, because again, Coach Akina was real big on understanding your role, which my role at that time was, hey, on kickoff you go down there as fast as possible, you go down there and make a play.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
even as me getting those punt returns, I wouldn't have been able to get them punt returns if you wasn't blocking for me, B.
True. True that.
Little things like that,
yeah,
bro.
And I did that with pride, because I want my boy to eat. Hey, we trying to get to the league, man. We're trying to get to the league, man.
Yes, sir.
But one thing I think that we overlook, I think we probably had one of the most unselfish rooms out there. Like, don't get me wrong, everybody wanted to play, everybody wanted to ball out. And I tell the story to a lot of my kids when, at some point you wasn't getting a lot of playing time. It was bothering you. And I'm like, bro, go talk to Coach Akina, bro. Like, he always had the open door policy.
Yeah.
Go speak on it. And
what do I need to do to get on the field?
Exactly. Like, tell me so I can do it.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, we got somebody like Terrell who's playing a lot. And like I said, that room was so unselfish. And Terrell was like, bro, you in there, bro, ball out. Like, we all trying to win. We all trying to eat. You know what I mean? So I feel like you taking that same unselfish approach in your business too, which is, one of the main reasons why I feel like you guys are successful, because everybody understands their role. Nobody's above anybody. And at the end of the day, we just trying to win.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So it's crazy how you take our DB room culture and you put it into your business, and it's like hand in hand. So,
building that's the first thing I got at the top of my door. Building the culture and by setting standards.
Yep. And that's exactly what our DB room was. And it's crazy because I talk to other guys, in their college experience, and I've yet to talk to anyone who had that same like culture or DB room like we had, man. It's just it's just one of those things, like, it's hard to explain.
Nah, it is, bro. And that's why we still connected today.
Right. I mean, like, and my wife, she was like, but y'all don't talk that much about it. You don't understand. It's not one of those things where we got to be on the phone talking. It's just like it's just understood in that room. Like, when we see each other, we pick up where we left off. It's just one of those things. Like, we keep up with each other in our own way, but it's just one of those things. Like, our room was just, Ishi, we chop it up, talk all the time, and it's like, we all still had them same conversations. Like, our room was just different, bro. He was young when we was there. He was a young kid.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those things. Like, man, you have to be there to kind of understand how that room was. So, but man,
can I ask a question?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead. Oh yeah. Hey, look, I wasn't ready for this. What's good? Yes, sir.
And what? I know you touched on it a little bit in some of your previous podcasts, but what made you want to do this?
But I'll be honest with you, man. I'm finally in a place of comfort to kind of speak on my struggles, bro. Really just moving on. And really finding a purpose, in my life. Because like I said, I've always put myself in a box of just being an athlete. And now that I teach and I got to talk to kids, bro, like I be telling kids a lot of this stuff, like a lot of my students and my athletes. Then I'm like, bro, I don't do some of the stuff I'm telling my kids to do.
Yeah.
So, man, now I'm just, now I'm in a better place mentally, where I feel like, well, now I know that I'm not the only one out there with these same struggles.
Right.
So I feel like it's a part of my calling to want to speak on it, bro, and just be a resource and an outlet for other guys going through the same thing. And of course, everybody's not going to be able to relate to every single thing, but at the same time, we all can relate to one thing, and that's that we all have a life after sports.
Right.
And I never forget that phone call. It was about a month ago, and you called me like, man, bro, I really think this is your calling. And I was like, man, bro, I didn't even think of it like that. And after that, bro, I just kind of had like a sense of pride about like my podcast. Because I kind of got into it, bro. One of my friends convinced me to do it. He's like, man, bro, you be telling me all this stuff. Like, bro, put that on a podcast. I'm like, bro, nobody want to listen to this. Like, nobody want to listen about when I was depressed or how hard it was or my transition. Nobody want to hear like, man, bro, you'll be surprised. So, man, I'm just doing it, man, just because it's something that I feel like we all need to be able to speak on, bro, and we all can relate to.
But like I said, I'm proud of you. I'm happy you're doing it, bro.
Man, I appreciate it. So, I got a couple more things I want to know before we get off. Like I said, I appreciate you for taking your time out today. But
yes, sir.
Since we on entrepreneurship, man, tell us about, I keep up Sonny too, and now I see she's a co-host of Central Ave, a show. Like, what's the dynamic, bro? And she's still doing her thing too. Like, she still has her life out of sports. She's dealing with motherhood and still trying to have her career. Like, how do y'all make that work, man?
Yeah, I think it's just something that our relationship started like that. So it's something that was second nature almost. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a grinder. That's something that I knew from the very, very beginning. So we tried, no matter what, we try to support one another as much as possible. Right. When she's doing her thing, I'm daddy dearest right now. So I've been able to grow the company to where I can step away mm-hmm. and have it run basically on its own. Only thing I have to do is be on the phone. I don't have to be there physically.
Right.
So now the money is coming in from the company without me being there, and now I'm able to let her do her thing,
right,
and be up here with me and my little man. while she's doing her thing. So
right,
that's basically how our relationship started from the very beginning. Her being in track before Deuce came, mm-hmm. her being in track, me being in the off season, I was able to cook for her, make sure she could be the best athlete she can be, and vice versa. When it was my time to ball out, mm-hmm. she was in her off season. She made sure I was right. So we basically carried our same strategy from when we were in college all the way to today, and it's just working out for us.
Man, I just think it's dope that there's no ego between the two of you. Because you even said this earlier, how she's the more accomplished athlete than you are. I mean, you got to think about it. You got 2 Super Bowl rings, a national championship ring, but then you married an Olympic gold medalist, which kind of trumps everything.
Yeah.
So I think
of them things.
Right, you know what I mean? I just think even as a, just man to man speaking, I don't think there's too many men who could handle their wife being the more successful counterpart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that you like, nah, man, I play my role. Like, hey, when it was my turn to cook, clean, whatever, I'm doing it. And vice versa, and when it's her turn.
We're a team. We don't look at it as the man and woman thing. I think that's what society kind of get things mixed up. That's mm-hmm. why it's such a high divorce rate, I believe.
Right.
So if what works for us works for us.
Right.
And that's us supporting one another.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a guy that's just go grind on one thing and make sure that's popping. And she's more of a person that's go put 20 things on her plate, and if I can do my part to help those 18 things work,
right,
and she take care of the 2, hey, let's get it.
Right.
That's how I look at it, and that's what's been working for us. There's never been a point to where I felt less of a man in our relationship. She knows what my role is. I know what her role is in this relationship, and we run with it.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely see it. I know Sonya well enough to know that she's not the type of woman who's gonna try to flex or like I do this and that's just neither one of y'all are like that. That's why I feel like it can work. Like I said, I just think it's admirable to have 2 very successful people together, and they're still like ultimate support. And like you said, everybody and it goes back to how you run your business too, which is everybody knows a role. And I feel like your marriage is the same way. Like I know my role as a husband, she knows her role as a wife, and we just make it work.
Yep.
You know,
and those roles might change depending on the season,
right?
Depending on where I'm at. When we needed the Ross Elite to grow to where it's at now,
right?
She didn't have much going on after her retirement. She was trying to find her purpose, her new thing,
right.
And she was supporting me 100%. Whatever I needed to get done, she was getting it done for Ross Elite. So now Ross Elite is at that place. Now she's on to her thing. She got Mommy Nation going on and Central Ave, and now I want her to be her best. Right. So now it's my turn.
Right.
So now those roles of where she was doing all the cooking, cleaning, washing clothes, doing all the what society called woman job.
Yeah.
That's what she was doing then. Now that role has changed. Now I'm changing the Pampers and putting them to sleep and doing the dishes and cleaning and
right.
Hey baby, you go study, do what you need to do to be great on this TV.
Right. Right.
So that's where we at now.
Right. Yeah, I think that's dope, man. I just feel like one, thanks for opening up. Like I said, I'm telling you, I got an all exclusive right now with A. Ross. ESPN even got this interview right here. Try me. So man, I got a couple more things before we get off this thing, man. And one of them, man, this is what I want to know. This is actually one of the questions I wrote down that I want to ask you for sure. Is will Deucey play football, bro?
Will he?
Yeah. Will you let him?
It's gonna be hard to keep him from it. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. But I honestly don't want him to play until he's older.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be hard to keep him from it.
Gotcha.
It's definitely gonna be hard. He's already seeing me with a ball all the time.
Right. You got him backpedaling already, Doc?
Right. Got him backpedaling. Got him catching. Got him doing everything. And
right.
He's enjoying it. So it's in his blood.
Right. So
it's gonna be definitely hard to keep him from doing it. You go to school, and in the States, football is. I hate to say it's God. So.
Yeah, in Texas for sure. You're right.
You're right. So it's gonna be hard to keep him off the field.
Right. And all right, so like I said, man, you my first guest, and I want to every time I have a guest, I kind of always want to end it on this question. And like I said, I think the point of this podcast is just be a resource for other players who are going through the same transition. So, what advice would you give an athlete going through the same thing we're going through, which is life out of sports? What advice would you give them?
I think number one is finding your purpose, finding a new purpose, finding something that's going to drive you the same way or close to the same way that whatever sport you came out of
right.
Drove you. For me, it was having a son. That's where I found my purpose, was trying to become a better me. So whatever you can do to find your purpose, do that. Number two is to go out and not keep it in. Keep whatever depression you're going through, be honest with yourself and be honest with people around you and let them know, hey, I'm struggling right now.
Right.
Hey, I need some help. This is what I've been doing all my life. This is all I know. What advice do you have for me? I ain't saying take everybody's advice, but
right.
At least you're getting it off your heart and letting them know, hey, I'm struggling right now. I need some help.
Right.
So I think it's for me, it's been two things that help me get through it, and that's finding my purpose, finding a new purpose, mm-hmm. and just talking about it, letting people know how you feel, and listening to other people like you. Like I told you before, hearing you come up with this podcast, listening to the first 2 episodes, I was mm-hmm. like, man, I ain't know I was still dealing with that. I thought I was past it, but it brought up some emotions in me. I'm like, ooh,
right.
Yeah, like you said, I wasn't alone.
Right.
So I think that's the main thing: getting with like-minded people, getting in those same circles, and just getting it off your chest.
Right.
Depression is real.
Right. For real. Well, man, I didn't want
to. Just to end, another quick story. It took me. It took me about 3 years to watch a football game. The first year out of retirement, I couldn't watch ESPN. I couldn't watch nothing with football. Had to do with football. The second year, I could watch a little bit of ESPN. When the football segment came on, I would feel a certain way, and really, I'll be able to watch maybe a little bit of it. Right. Third year, I was able to watch ESPN, NFL Network, and then watch just the Giants.
Come on, man.
I'm dead serious. This year's the first year I've been able to just watch football and not feel a certain type of way.
All right.
So it's not something that's easy that you go get over. Like in the first year or two, hopefully you will, but for me, it took a while. And I think those first two things that I mentioned before, that was the things that helped me get past it.
Right. I mean, I can definitely relate. Have you ever asked yourself why it was hard for you? Like, what were you holding on to or anything? Or you just kind of one of those things where you was still feeling like you can play?
It was definitely that. I felt like I didn't reach my full potential. So that's one thing as an athlete. If you feel like you didn't reach your full potential, it's something that'll mess with you for a long time. So I had to come to grips with, hey, I just didn't have it no more.
Right.
Or however you deal with it.
Right.
Whatever. However you go rationalize it.
Right.
Come up with something, because that was something that was killing me. I just felt like I didn't reach my full potential on who I could have been in the NFL.
Got you. Well, like I said, man, I just want to thank you, man, for spending this time with me and coming on this podcast. You're my first guest, and I feel like I should have nobody other than my boy A. Ross as my first guest. Thank you for opening up to it, man. And I think a part of it too is, man, just being vulnerable, man. Like you said, one of your second reasons was just communicating, to open up and tell people how you feel. So I thank you for doing exactly that, because I'm sure this podcast is definitely gonna help somebody out there, and that's really the purpose of this whole podcast is to help, man. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, man. Is to help the next man, because being who we are, bro, being ultra competitive males. Like, I think it's hard for us sometimes to open up about something that is hard for us. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, man, I just want to thank you, bro. And hey, hopefully this ain't the last time we get on a podcast. We might just do a straight entrepreneurship podcast. You can really give us the ins and outs on that.
Hey, we can do it. Let me know.
I will, man. So, man, hey, appreciate the time. And that'll be it for the last podcast.
Yes, sir. Love you, baby.
All right, love you too, baby.